I don't like this. I don't like this. I don't fuck with this. I'm gonna keep it a buck. And YoungBoy ain't been missing from me. But I don't fuck with this song.
PlaqueBoyMax just publicly violated NBA YoungBoy after he dissed him, calling him out by name on social media in front of millions. Everyone knows Max won't fold. But what YoungBoy did next at Rolling Loud, nobody was ready for that. The reaction that started a war. Go check this out. In 2026, all it takes is one honest take, just one single opinion, about a song to start an all-out digital war between two completely different worlds. We're talking about a collision between the streaming universe and the rap game, and when those two worlds crash into each other, things get ugly real fast. And that is exactly what went down when one of the biggest streamers on the entire planet decided to keep it a buck about an NBA YoungBoy track. What came after that was straight chaos. Phone calls blowing up left and right. Disk tweets flying across every timeline. A whole beef that literally nobody on earth saw coming. And we're about to break this entire thing down, piece by piece, so you don't miss a single detail. So, let's run it back from the jump, because this story got layers on layers on layers. And if you ain't locked in from the start, you're going to miss the most important parts of how this whole thing unfolded. February 20th, 2026, NBA YoungBoy dropped a new joint called Head Tap Off his project Slime Cry. Now, if you don't already know, YoungBoy is one of the most streamed rappers of his whole entire generation. This dude got billions of views stacked up on YouTube, a fan base that goes dummy hard for him, like no other artist walking the face of this earth, and a reputation for never, ever letting any form of disrespect slide without consequences. We're going to get deep into all of that history later on, but first, let's chop it up about the other side of this whole situation, because that context matters just as much. PlaqueBoyMax, government name Maxwell Elliott Dent, born April 3rd, 2003, out of West Orange, New Jersey, ain't just some random dude sitting behind a webcam reacting to stuff for fun. This man put in years of work to get where he's at. He started out posting hoops videos on YouTube under the name Max Got Next, then slid into reaction content, lifestyle joints, and gaming streams. He linked up with some homies early on and co-founded a content group called the Basement Boys, where they did public interviews and freestyle sessions that helped him earn his first YouTube plaque. And by April 2021, he launched his solo Twitch channel and never looked back. By 2024 and 2025, bro was ranked among Twitch's top streamers, stacking over 1.5 million followers and pulling a crazy 5 million monthly watch hours. He even signed with Field Trip Recordings, started dropping his own music that actually charted, built his own label called $5 Records, and hit festival stages performing in front of thousands. So when PlaqueBoyMax speaks on music during a stream, people tune in heavy, mad people. And that influence is exactly what makes him such a force in the culture. And that right there is precisely what made what happened next such a crazy big deal for everybody involved. During a live Twitch stream on February 20th, PlaqueBoyMax pulled up YoungBoy's brand new track, Head Tap, and reacted to it in real time in front of his audience. And his reaction, it wasn't the type of glowing praise that YoungBoy's fanbase is used to hearing from folks who review his music. Let's peep exactly what Max had to say about the joint.
I do not listen to this music as it is, bro. I don't want to hear gangbanger music. I don't want to hear trap music.
So right
off rip, Max made it crystal clear that this type of sound just ain't his wave in general. He's not the type of dude who bumps drill music and trap music on the regular anyway. But he wasn't finished with his thoughts. He kept going in on why he felt the way he felt about the track and what his broader take on the state of mainstream rap was.
Because, bro, they actually have something to say. They actually have new words, bro. I'm not saying, like, NBA YoungBoy is trash.
So he's drawing the line right there for everybody to see. He ain't calling the man garbage as an artist. He ain't saying YoungBoy got no talent whatsoever. He's saying this particular joint, this particular sound just didn't smack for him personally. And then after all that explaining, he dropped the final verdict on the whole thing. I don't like this. I don't like this, and that was a wrap. That was the whole entire critique right there. Max said he wasn't rocking with the song, gave it a low score, and even made sure to point out that YoungBoy don't usually miss. For him as a listener, he called the song a miss and made it clear it was just his honest opinion with absolutely no malice behind it whatsoever. That's all Bruss said. He didn't call YoungBoy out his name, didn't disrespect him on a personal level, didn't do nothing out of pocket or wild. He just said one song wasn't for him, period. End of story. Or at least it should have been the end of the story. But here's the thing about NBA YoungBoy that everybody who follows this man already knows all too well. He does not take criticism lightly at all, not even a little bit. And when he peeped that clip floating around the internet when he saw one of the biggest streamers in the world telling millions of viewers that his brand new track was a miss, something inside him just went off completely. YoungBoy took straight to X and posted a direct rant aimed right at PlaqueBoyMax. You could have been reacted and said, you ain't like that song. You just do leash like a girl sit this one. Oh, my boy ain't gonna play with you. And don't respond to me. Sorry. That joint pulled in over 11,000 likes and had the whole internet going absolutely crazy within minutes of being posted. Now, let that marinate for a second. Really let it sink in. One of the biggest rappers breathing on this planet just publicly violated a streamer on social media, told him to sit down and shut up, and threw all kinds of profanity across the timeline for the entire world to see. All of that over one song review, over one honest opinion about one track. And the smoke didn't stop there neither, because YoungBoy's camp was about to pile on. YoungBoy's stepdad Montana also hopped on social media talking reckless about PlaqueBoyMax, basically saying YoungBoy ain't messing with no streamers no more and they should all fall back. Montana's whole message was that Max should just go ahead and say he don't rock with them and go play somebody else's music instead.
He'll probably go opposite way, just say you don't fuck with us, go play them other dudes.
That was Montana's whole vibe right there. And the internet was on fire from every direction. Social media completely blew up with fans split down the middle. Some riding hard for Max's right to speak his mind freely, others saying he was clout chasing or being flat out disrespectful to YoungBoy. YoungBoy's supporters, who are deadass some of the most loyal and aggressive fans in all of hip-hop culture, started flooding Max's streams, his comment sections, his DMs, literally everywhere you could possibly reach him. People were even calling in live on his stream, warning him not to escalate the situation any further than it already had gone. And this is where things really start heating up to another level, because PlaqueBoyMax, he didn't fold. Not one single bit, not even a little. Max stands on business, so the tweet is out there for the whole world to see and screenshot and share. NBA YoungBoy D publicly called PlaqueBoyMax everything but a child of God on social media in front of millions. Montana backed the whole thing up with his own post. The YB fanbase is in full-on attack mode, swarming everything Max touches online, and everybody, literally everybody across every platform is watching and waiting to see what Max is going to do next. Is he going to fold under all that pressure? Is he going to say sorry and try to smooth things over? Is he going to cap and pretend like he was vibing to the song the whole time just to avoid the smoke? Nah, none of that. Not even close. PlaqueBoyMax hopped right back on his Twitch stream and spoke on the entire situation with his whole chest, holding nothing back. And his response was this wild mix of pure confusion, genuine frustration, and a whole lot of standing on business like his life depended on it.
I don't like this. I don't like this.
Max was dead as confused by the whole situation. He genuinely could not wrap his head around how giving one honest opinion about one single track turned into a full-blown public war with one of the biggest rappers on the planet. And then he pulled up YoungBoy's tweet and read the whole thing out loud on stream. And his reaction was low-key hilarious, even in the middle of all the madness.
How can you say this? What did I do to these niggas? What did I do? What is going on?
Even in the middle of getting publicly violated by one of the biggest rappers alive, Max caught that YoungBoy ain't even spell his name right in the tweet. You can't make this stuff up. But jokes aside, Max then delivered the line that pretty much defined his whole stance and mentality throughout this entire mess, from start to finish.
And he say, Plaque you a Plaque you a He didn't even spell my shit right.
Standing 10 toes down. That right there is what set this whole moment apart from every other time a streamer got into it with a rapper and backed down. Max doubled down completely on refusing to apologize, insisting he ain't do nothing wrong by keeping it AH 100 red while still making it clear he respected YoungBoy as an artist. Overall, he wasn't trying to start no smoke with nobody. He wasn't trying to be disrespectful on any level. He was doing what he does every single day on his platform, and what he does is react to music with raw honesty.
Like, what do I say to this? Like, I'm still gonna give my opinion, bro. Again, I'm not gonna apologize.
And then, the point he kept hammering home over and over again throughout the entire stream to make sure everybody understood where he was coming from.
This is what I don't understand. You can show love, be like, yo, I with his music. Nah, this shit hard.
Max's whole argument was straight to the point and honestly hard to argue against. He's shown YoungBoy nothing but love for years. He's put his music on rotation during streams. He's reacted to his albums and given him his flowers publicly time after time. And the one single time he says he ain't feeling one song, all of a sudden he's public enemy number one. That math wasn't matching for him at all. And honestly, it wasn't matching for a whole lot of the people watching either. Now, this is where the story takes a real interesting turn that nobody expected. Right smack in the thick of all this chaos, Max's phone started ringing, and it was none other than DJ Academics on the other end. And this whole conversation was caught live on the stream for everybody to witness.
As soon as you say you don't like somebody's music, now it is an issue. If you don't like a song, if I don't like one song, or if I don't like one thing, it is now a problem.
Academics, who got his own personal relationship with YoungBoy and knows how the rap game operates behind closed doors better than most, called Max up to get the full rundown on what actually went down. And what Max told him was exactly what he'd been telling everybody the entire time.
Max, what happened, bro?
I was reacting to a music video, bro. And I was like, yo, I'm not gonna lie, bro.
Max broke down how he had reacted to YoungBoy's album before and didn't even finish listening to it because it just wasn't hitting for him personally.
So look, I will say this. I reacted to his album. I reacted to Massa.
And that's the part that makes this whole situation so incredibly wild when you really think about it. Max ain't no YoungBoy hater by any stretch of the imagination. This man been tapped in and bumping YB's music since he was in middle school. He's shown consistent love and support for the man's catalog over the years. But despite all that history, Academics hinted during their phone call that YoungBoy might not normally start beef over a song critique, but probably saw Max's comments as way more oppositional than they were ever meant to be. AK broke down the harsh reality that the clips which blow up on TikTok and YouTube are always the negative joints with the hot takes, never the positive reactions, where Max is gassing the music up and showing genuine love.
I didn't finish it. I didn't like it. I'm not gonna lie. It's just my. But listen though, I've been bumping YB since middle school.
And that right there is low-key the single most important point in this whole entire beef. When you really break it down, rappers ain't sitting down watching full 2-hour Twitch streams from beginning to end. They catching the 10-second TikTok clips that the algorithm decides to push out to millions of people. And those clips, they always highlight the worst moments and the most negative takes, never the praise or the love. So from YoungBoy's point of view, all he's ever seeing is Max saying, his music ain't it, over and over and over, because that's what blows up online and gets the engagement. But even with all that context and understanding, academics brought up something else that really raised eyebrows. Back in July 2025, when YoungBoy dropped his earlier album, Max had reacted negatively to that project, too, straight up telling his audience he wasn't going to finish listening to it. So, this wasn't the first time YoungBoy's people had peeped Max giving an unfavorable review. This was a pattern that had been building up and compounding over time.
You feel me? Shout out YB. I'm not finishing this album. This is not for me.
That was Max's take on the earlier album from months ago. And even then, he was mad respectful about the whole thing. He shouted YoungBoy out by name, called him a great artist with genuine appreciation. He just wasn't feeling that particular project and kept it a buck about it. Meanwhile, in the middle of all this madness, streamer Cuffham, also called PlaqueBoyMax during the chaos, straight up warning him about the dangers of beefing with YoungBoy and telling him he needed to fall all the way back before things got out of hand.
We're like, oh, I'm with this? That's not the most viral shit on TikTok. You know what I mean? That's how they kind of get their representation of how people think of them.
But Max wasn't moving an inch. He wasn't budging for nobody, regardless of who called or what they said. And what came next proved he wasn't just standing his ground passively. He was about to slide on the offensive and take this thing to another level entirely. The diss track and the bigger picture. So at this point, the whole entire internet got they popcorn out watching this situation unfold in real time. YoungBoy threw the first punch publicly on social media. Max refused to fold under the pressure. Academics tried to play peacemaker and mediate between both sides. Cuffham called in and told Max to chill and stand down. And fans on both sides of this whole thing are going at each other's throats like it's a digital gang war playing out across every platform imaginable. But PlaqueBoyMax, he wasn't about to just sit there and eat those shots quietly. Nah, not at all. Because what Max did next had literally everybody shook and proved he was built different. Max went off during his stream and freestyled a disc aimed directly at the situation, spitting bars that left no room for misinterpretation. Lines like, "No want to diss me. I ain't gonna backtrack. I'ma be a superstar. They mad I got this massive." The freestyle was his first real shot fired back in this war, and the internet absolutely ate it up and ran with it across every platform. But he wasn't done yet. Not even close to being done. PlaqueBoyMax then linked up with rapper Blueface, and together they cooked up a whole track called Catfish that was clearly aimed at YoungBoy and the whole situation. The entire joint was recorded live on stream for the world to watch, with Blueface jumping in the booth, delivering his signature flows, and Max throwing down his own bars alongside him. The track featured lines about refusing to backtrack, about being destined for superstardom, and about people being pressed over his come-up and success. It wasn't a straight-up, dedicated full disc record, per se, but the message behind it was crystal clear for anybody paying attention. Max wasn't bowing down to nobody, no matter how big their name was in the industry. Clips from that studio session went dummy viral across every social media platform, racking up thousands upon thousands of views in just hours. The collaboration between Max and Blueface made headlines all over hip-hop media outlets, with multiple sites reporting on the wild fact that a Twitch streamer had just hit the studio with another established rapper to officially clap back at one of the biggest names in the entire rap game. Now, this is where we really got to take a step back from the day-to-day drama and peep the much bigger picture here. Because this beef between Max and YoungBoy ain't just about one song review or one bad reaction clip. It's about something way bigger and way more significant that's been cooking in the music industry for years now and is finally boiling over. The power dynamic between rappers and streamers has done a complete 180 flip. And that's exactly what people in Max's circle and other commentators kept pointing out throughout this whole situation. Streamers like PlaqueBoyMax, Kaisnat, and DJ Academics now command audiences that match or straight up body what major recording artists pull on their best days. When a top streamer with millions of loyal viewers says a song is a banger, that clip goes viral instantly and suddenly hundreds of thousands of brand new listeners are tapping in to hear the track. But when that same streamer says a song is a miss, the flip side hits just as hard. And that negative perception spreads like wildfire. And that uncomfortable reality right there is what's been fueling all the tension between these two worlds.
You better stand down, Five. At ease, Five. At ease. Them slums ready to go. I'm telling you. We don't play by YB.
That's the new reality of the streaming era that everybody in the music industry has to reckon with whether they want to or not. These content creators became the new gatekeepers of music discovery and consumption for an entire generation. And some of these rappers, they still ain't fully come to terms with that massive power shift yet. And it shows every time something like this pops off.
This been a star rapper since they released him from the juvenile detention center.
That's true. That's true.
He's
You're
a juvenile
right.
delinquent that became a rapper.
And the fact that both Max and YoungBoy are scheduled to perform at Rolling Loud on the exact same day added a whole other dangerous layer of smoke and anticipation to this already heated situation. Academics himself flagged during the call that YoungBoy is headlining the entire festival and Max is performing that same Sunday on the lineup, meaning they could very easily cross paths backstage or anywhere else in that venue. And given how spicy and personal things done gotten between them online, ain't nobody on the internet sure what might actually pop off when they find themselves in the same building together. Now, let's chop it up about YoungBoy's track record with beefs for a minute. 'Cause this situation with Max ain't even remotely the first time he went to war over something that most reasonable people would just brush off and move on from. NBA YoungBoy has built a massive career that's been marked by mad feuds throughout the years, constantly mixing street beef, personal betrayals, and rap rivalries all together into one explosive combination. His long-running war with Lil Durk and the whole camp has been one of the most infamous and dangerous rivalries in all of modern hip-hop, going all the way back to the tragic passing of King Von. He's traded shots publicly with Kodak Black, Fredo, Bang, NLE, Choa, and mad others over the years. And more recently, his beefs have expanded way beyond just rap to target streamers like PlaqueBoyMax, Kaisnat, and others in the content creation space. So, when you look at this whole situation through that historical lens, Max was never going to be the exception to the rule of how YoungBoy operates. YoungBoy treats any form of criticism as a deeply personal attack against him, and his response is always aggressive and over the top. That's just how he moves and how he's always moved. In a 2026 interview, YoungBoy even said he's officially finished with rap feuds, but what he actually does versus what he says publicly are clearly two completely different things based on everything we just witnessed play out. And then there was the Charleston White angle, which brought a whole unexpected and deeper perspective to this broader conversation about YoungBoy and why he is the way he is. Charleston White, who is widely known for his controversial and unfiltered takes on hip-hop culture in the streets, shared a story about Young Boy that honestly stopped everybody dead in their tracks.
That kid said, tell Charleston White, I'm a gangster, and I was misled wrong, so I'm leading wrong.
White acknowledged what a whole lot of people in the culture tend to forget or overlook entirely. Young Boy was a kid, caught up deep in the system before he ever touched a microphone or stepped foot in a recording booth. And that context matters heavy because it explains a whole lot about why he reacts the way he does to any form of pushback or criticism from anybody.
So if somebody's, alright, if they see, like, let's say Kai Snap, for example, bro, if Kai Snap would have said, yo, this song is so fire, a lot of people in the chat probably would have that music.
That bar from one of Young Boy's tracks literally had Charleston White completely speechless. And that almost never happens with that, man. The idea that Young Boy actually acknowledged being misled by his environment and openly admitted that he was leading others down the wrong path showed a level of self-awareness that most people simply don't give him credit for having. But it also highlighted the very real danger of the situation, because millions upon millions of young, impressionable fans are still out there, soaking up absolutely everything he puts out into the world. The aggression, the threats, the constant beefs, all of it gets absorbed by kids who look up to him as their voice. And that brings us right back to the heart and core of this whole entire situation between these two. The feud shines a bright spotlight on the growing tension between hip-hop artists and online streamers, where simply keeping it real and giving an honest opinion can spark serious and sometimes dangerous backlash. We're living in a whole new era where streamers got more influence over what people actually bump and listen to than radio stations do, more pull than magazine reviews ever had, and more reach than any traditional media outlet could ever dream of. And artists who can't handle honest takes from these creators are going to keep landing themselves in exactly this type of explosive situation over and over again. PlaqueBoyMax said it best when he refused to apologize and stood on his square. He said he ain't never going to compromise himself for nobody. He ain't never going to blindly gas everything up and fake react to music just because he's worried about the blowback and the drama that might follow. And real talk, that's exactly the type of raw authenticity that built his whole platform from the ground up in the first place and made him who he is today. As of February 22nd, 2026, the beef stays strictly online with no in-person confrontations having taken place. Max stood firm on everything without taking it beyond the diss track and the freestyle, and Young Boy ain't responded any further since his initial outburst, but with Rolling Loud pulling up real soon and both of them performing on the exact same day at the exact same festival, everybody and their mama is watching closely to see what jumps off next when they're finally in the same space. One thing is 100% certain though, PlaqueBoyMax just showed the whole world that streamers ain't folding for rappers no more. The power done shifted in a major way, and whether the rap industry likes it or not, the days of artists being completely untouchable when it comes to honest criticism are officially a wrap. But what y'all think about all this? Was Max wrong for keeping it a buck and standing on business? Or did Young Boy go way too crazy over one single opinion about one song? Drop your thoughts in the comments below and make sure you hit that subscribe button, because trust me when I tell you, this story is far from being over. Love this video? Click on these cards for more.